Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Mary, ma'am, are you on the line?
Can you hear?
Yes, ma'am. Welcome to the session, ma'am.
Yeah. Welcome. You put the screen in full screen, ma. That.
Yes, yes.
PowerPoint.
Is this a screen? I just wanted to confirm.
Yes, ma.
Okay.
Yes. Both.
Okay. May we start the session, ma'am?
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma'am. You may take up the session.
Take up the class. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Everybody. Now let us not waste time because we have hardly less time to complete all our portions. So we will just straight away start with the fourth lesson. That is unit 3, fourth lesson, type of communication. The type of communication we are discussing this 7 points which is on the screen, or you can say 8 points. First, we'll discuss about oral or verbal. So here, oral, verbal, communicate. Oral means verbal only, words, spoken. So here, two parties exchange ideas through mouth. It can be a message, it can be an instruction, or it can be an order or direction, and so many other things. For example, it can be through telephone, through order, face-to-face talk, lectures, speech, counseling, and etc. During this process, the communication and the receiver keep on exchanging ideas. So in addition to this context, visual aids, voice, body language, appearances are also very, very important. Now we'll go to the next topic, non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is more powerful. It makes the receiver and the sender more powerful communicators. The factors of this non-verbal communication is most importantly facial expression, body language, and movement. And these three can be expressed through 7 channels. That one channel is eye contact. Eye contact regulates the flow of communication. It signals interest in others, increases credibility, conveys concern and warmth. The next channel is facial expression. Smile is the powerful cue. Clue also you can say. So when once smiling, you will be likable, friendly, warm, and approachable. And our expressions can be happiness, friendliness, warmth, liking, affiliation, and also close or official. Just 1 minute. Just a minute. Next channel is gesture. You may be boring or stiff or unanimated if you fail to gesture. Lovely animation teaching styles captures attention, makes interesting. So facilities this facial expression, that is gesture, facilitates learning, provides entertainment. And for example, head nodding is sometimes positive and it indicates listening also. The next one is posture and the body orientation. The fourth channel is posture and body orientation. You can communicate as you walk, talk, stand and sit. Standing erect but not rigid. Leaning slightly forward communicates that you are approachable, respectful, friendly. Speaking with your back turned, look at the floor, off ceiling, communicate that you are disinterested. Interpersonal relationship is maintained when you face each other. Next one is proximity. Proximity means the distance you keep between one another. Comfortable distance should be maintained. Discomfort signals in spacing are rocking,
இங்க ஒரு சேர்
legs
இருந்தது என்ன
swinging,
கரண்ட் இல்ல ஐயோ
tapping, gazing in aversion. So in large colleges, space invention is no problem, but moving around the room, increasing proximity makes better contact, increase better interaction. The next one is paralingualism. Paralingualism includes tone, pitch, rhythm, timbre, loudness, inflection. That is, inflection is change of the tone, pitch and speaking. The last channel is humor. It is overlooked, discouraged nowadays. Laughter releases stress tension for both the instructor and the receiver. The laughter fosters friendly atmosphere, facilitates learning. Knowledge of subject is crucial and it should be learnt with the humor. Now we'll talk about written communication. Written communication, this is produced in the black and white, that is on the paper. This is conveyed through letters, reports, circulars, notes, memos, notices, and so on. And organization communication. Organization communication is as two categories. One is formal, one is informal. The formal one establishes relationship between the members of the organization. It describes the formal lines of authority, power, responsibility, and accountability. The informal organization communication establishes relationship among the members of the organization. It is conveyed by gesture, smile, silence, glance, and nod. Now we'll go to the next topic, that is downward, upward, horizontal communication. Downward is flow, communication, the flow of communication from management to the subordinate. Upward communication is the flow of communication from subordinate to the management. Horizontal means flow of communication between the individuals. Next, the topic which we are just going to see is interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication done between the people who know each other. These people are unique individuals. They may be couples, friends, very close friends, business partners, roommates, and so on. And this helps to live harmoniously. Say skills of the interpersonal communications are smile, appreciative, paying attention, active listening, humor, and no compulsion. The last one should be client communication. It is very, very important also in the present scenario. This is interpersonal interaction between the one and the clients. It may be in a medicine line or in the business line. This focuses on understanding of interaction skills, attitudes, behavior. Next, it should have awareness of clients to identify and bring about the changes in skills, attitudes, and behavior. So after learning the communication, certain things should be done. That is, when we are communicating ourselves, we have to collect ourselves. Collect ourselves means we have to calm ourselves. Then when we are communicating, we have to cup our hands in front of us. Then we have to think of an icebreaker. Icebreaker means how to start the conversation. Get everyone's name. First we have to know the name. Then shake hands with everyone if there is necessary. These are the things we have to do when we are conversing in the client communication. And what are the things we should not do? We should not assume anything. We should make clients feel that we are the center of attraction. Then we should be patient. We should not talk to people, but don't go very crazy. We should talk to people, but not too much. Don't talk to one client the whole evening. Don't get too personal. Stick to the small talk. Don't give them any hard sells. Now we'll go to the next slide. Written communication versus oral communication. So the two comparison we are going to make here. First, written communication. First, we'll see what is written communication. Written communication is complex activity. It involves many sub-skills. That is why it is very difficult. That sub-skills are legibility, correct spelling, good expression, construction of grammatical sentences, developing ideas into paragraphs, arranging arguments logically, using different formats. So all this can be acquired only through practice. The elements of written communications are organization. We have to organize in a higher degree. We should present it in a systematic manner. We should use accurate words when we are presenting. Then we have to choose relevant details. Then we have to choose appropriate grammatical structures. Structures mean sentences. And then we have to create our own style. Then various types of sentences. There are 4 types of sentences, all that can be used in writing. And also we have to concentrate on various paragraphs. We have to use simple language. We need not go for bombastic language. That won't work out. And we have to follow a format. And we should need wide vocabulary. Otherwise, our written communication will go upset. And written communication has a few concepts. That is purpose. Purpose means for whom we are writing, for what reason we are writing. So we may be writing for examination sake, news, for news gathering, for personal letters, or public, for public, and for creative writing. Like that we'll be writing. That may be purpose. And we may have the purpose of the reader also. Who is the reader? Maybe the teacher or student, expert or layman, and so many others. So all this will influence our style. Next concept is strategy. Strategy means choosing a topic and a language. Next, for example, psychological effect of school children. Choose a story to give an idea. So third one is style. The aspects of style are formation of sentences and paragraphs, use of grammatical sentences, use of images in between. That is style. Point of view. We should have some point of view when we are writing. Choose personal or impersonal ideas. This depend upon the style. For example, impersonal, scientific thesis may be, newspaper article may be. Personal means autobiography, diary, like that. You can have the point of view. Persona. Persona means abstract. Any type of writing will have a abstract, short form of the whole writing. For example, there will be the whole film, 3 hours film will be written within a 50 words as an abstract in the newspaper or in the magazine. Like that, persona should be one of the aspect of writing. Tone. Tone means here not the voice, it is the mood of the writer or mood of the reader. For example, a child labor. So it is a mood. Child labor means we may be irritated, we may be angry to the society, like that. So when we write about child labor, we may be angry, or we may be asking for a change, or we may be cynical, or we may be disappointed. So this is the type of tone. The next one is, we are going to talk about process. Concept you are saying, we are going to talk about process. Process, we have 4 types of process. One is planning. Planning is who is, whatever we are writing, who is to need. What is the need? Who needs this writing? Why I am writing this? So this should, when you are planning for writing, this too you should have it in your mind. Then translating. Translating means putting the idea into appropriate form. Form is crucial. It is a difficult stage for the learners. Learners may be having ideas, may not have vocabulary, but tend to repeat the same words. So they will commit mistakes. Therefore, group composition is better initially. The next one is rewriting. When you are writing, you are planning and you are translating and you have to rewrite. This is a post-writing. There must be thinking organization. What is clear to writer may not be clear to the reader. So some may be lazy, do not know how to review. So after writing, you recollect it and rewrite it. Wherever there is necessary, you make some changes. The 4th one is monitoring. Monitor means checking. So you have to monitor your own ideas and the mechanism, the way of writing. So it is called a review also, or it can be editing forms of monitoring also. The next topic we are going to just think is mechanics of writing. It refers how a composition is arranged on a paper. It has 4 ways of arranging. One is spacing the words. There should be a space between the words. Then there should be paragraph alignment. And there should be appropriate spelling. Then use of punctuation marks is very, very important. So these are the mechanics of writing we should necessarily follow while we are writing. So we are just thought of our written communication. Now opposite, what is oral communication? Oral communication, you change the slide.
This meeting is, yes ma'am,
Huh?
yes ma'am, this meeting is ending in another 8 minutes. So we'll log on once this is time is off. Okay.
Okay. Shall I continue?
Yes,
Oral.
please. Yes, please.
Oral communication. Speaking, oral means speaking through the mouth. So speaking through refers to voice or exploring thoughts into words or developing new thoughts. So it is progress from the cooing. Cooing means noise and babbling of the baby. To speak at the 6 years old who mastered the rules of the syntax. Syntax is vocabulary. Only after the year of 6 years, they know the words. Otherwise, till then, the communication is only on babbling and cooing of the child. Next one, we are going to talk about the characteristics of oral communication. One is fluency. What is fluency? Words and phrases flow easily on any situation. Fluent speaking is easy to understand. Right words and phrases should be there to communicate ideas, feelings, and it should be easily produced. The second quality is clarity. Clarity refers to the local factors, content factors. Local factors are changing the rate of delivery. Content factors are rate of delivery, tone, pitch, loudness, stress, juncture. Juncture is series of events, and diction. Diction is clear speech. And the content factor is organization and consciousness. The third characteristics of speaking is sensibility. Whatever we are speaking should have awareness. The verbal or non-verbal language should be used. A good speaker uses non-verbal language to enhance the message. Both words and non-verbal will be good for a speaking. Courtesy. What is courtesy? Good speaker is aware of the audience reaction and posture, eye contact, facial expression, and spoken, everything is the clue how we have to communicate the message to the others. Now we'll talk about the role models, whom we can take role models. Many of us, many of the youngsters, many of the beginners will not know. I don't know whom should I take, whom should I take a guidance. So best peers, friends, and those who are working with us or studying with us. Then the second one is teachers. The third one, literature. You have to take a lot of literature books and go on reading. If you read, automatically you will have spoken language and also an oral language. And curriculum also helps us a lot to improve in this. What is curriculum? All the subjects provided in it. It may be science or social science, art, literature, mathematics, everything will provide opportunities and generate oral language than any other situations. Next one, we are going to see opportunity. What are the opportunities we can create? We can create opportunity. We ourselves should create opportunities. One is conversation. Second one is telephoning. Third one is interviews. Fourth one is questioning. See, all this, there are ready-made models or in many of the English books. Not even in the grammar books. Nowadays, there are separate books are issued in the book markets. So you can take those and follow conversation. We can follow, we can read and try our best. We can try to speak. Telephoning also, there is a format to speak over the telephone. You take the conversation over the telephone, go through once and practice yourself. Interviews, there are so many conversations, ready-made conversations, and you can go through it and adapt according to our own situations. You can always question. Question is the best type of conversation. Asking question is a great art. So questions are two types. Even you can say three types. There are yes or no question, WH question, tag questions. So you can learn all these 3 types and go on starting questions, asking questions to others, to friends, to others. Then through that we'll be learning. We create our own opportunities. We'll be teaching ourselves, we'll be learning ourselves and become better day by day. So what is interesting fact is 75 questions are asked by the teacher in a period, literal or factual, in a one period of 40 minutes. And in that 75 questions, 70 questions are asked only in 30 minutes in a period of teaching a lesson. Teachers allow 2 or 3 minutes only for the bright students to respond. So here itself we lag. We have to give question and give time for the students to get answers from them. Okay, now we'll go to the next slide, telephone communication. Next slide. Do you hear me? Shall I continue? Okay. Telephone communication. What is telephone communication? We all know, because nowadays each and every hand has the facilities of communicating through phone. So telephone communication is one of the top priorities of those who are at work in the job. Learning common phrases helps to communicate very, very well. And telephoning requires special skills. There are numbers of difficulties also there. Role play is the best way to improve communication. So this is just introduction for communication. Now we'll see the difficulties. What are the difficulties? Lack of visual communication. So there is no visual. We cannot see and talk. We cannot present it. Visual is by seeing through eyes. It makes the person nervous and hinders communication. Then second difficulty is, it is hectic pace of business communication needs. So these 2 difficulties we have to avoid by providing the necessary things. Next one is telephone role plays. How to prepare telephone role plays.